The John Lebang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to the John Lebang Show. I'm your host, John Lebang. Thank you for joining me. I've been gone here and there over the past month or so, stopping in only occasionally because I've got a lot of things in the studio we're trying to accomplish here. It seems like a never-ending process, and that's where we're at. And normally, at this point, I would probably take off the week. But a lot of things have happened, so I thought, because this is what I do, I should probably talk about some of the big events that have transpired over the past couple weeks. The big news, it's got the whole entire YouTube community up in an uproar, is the Trump gives AG Barr authority to declassify related documents that refer to the 2016 campaign surveillance on him and associates. Boy, oh boy. Everybody who's a supporter of Trump that I've been able to glean information from or opinions from, everybody thinks this is the big thing. This is the one that's going to arrest everybody bad in the government. And I'm like, okay, go ahead and believe that. But I'm here to tell you that if you think this is going to extend to where Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama or some of the big boys and big players in the surveillance and in the swamp are going to be taken down, no chance. No chance. Because if you were to dig so deep to where you found out all the information that they do behind the scenes and you declassified that to the American people, and you started sending people to jail for their actions, and I'm talking the big boys again, not the Comeys and the Strocks and the Pages and all these little people who were part of the conspiracy. Oh yeah, there was a conspiracy, folks. You're not going to see Hillary and Barack and all the big boys go, because if that were to happen, it would unravel the entire power structure that is in control of everything. The power structure that controls not only the Democrats, but the power structure that controls the Republicans, because they're under one ultimate power structure. So for the people who are excited, sure, have some optimism that maybe some people in the government will go to jail over transgressions they have done. But this isn't going to clean up the government at all. This is more of a political takedown. And that's because we can't rip the government apart. Especially Barr. He's an institution guy. He's not going to allow the institutions to be destroyed. He'll take out people here and there, and that'll be people that the power structure has put in place just in case they were caught at what they were doing. So these little people like Strzok and Comey and all this can get wiped away, and it still protects the big people. The true power structure of the government, which it's not you. Not at all. And you big supporters of Trump, go ahead and keep being big supporters of Trump. It's okay. I understand. You got people who love the Democrats so much that they blindly follow them, no matter how much of absurdities and how corrupt publicly we can see. Then we see Trump, he's battling, jousting with Nancy Pelosi. You know, they're going back and forth. Which you have to give most of that to Trump because Nancy's about lost her mind. And Trump, who is a professional troller on the Twitters there, he's just better at ripping into people. It's his thing. Nancy's better at being corrupt. But I've seen many people so excited that Trump's going to make these documents available, declassify them. I'm telling you, you're setting yourself up for disappointment because we've probably learned all we need to know on who the little people were behind the conspiracy to overthrow the 2016 election. And the people who set these people in motion, the higher ups, we'll never find out because there's going to be no trace of these people. The people who set this in motion behind the scenes weren't dumb enough to leave email trails, weren't dumb enough to leave electronic information out there so that the opposition could find out about that. So when we come down to all this in the end, and we start to realize that Hillary's not going to go to jail, Obama's not going to go to jail, many others aren't going to go to jail, and we're going to see the little people in this conspiracy go to jail. And you people on the left over there who have been led down this path thinking that Trump colluded with Russia. Now we know that he hasn't colluded with Russia. We hear I love it because I can't get the logic in this, but it's great. The Democrats are pushing that he obstructed justice in this fake dossier, fake investigation into the Trump campaign and its associates. All the information based on phony information provided by the Democrats and the Hillary campaign. That's clear as day. You Democrats have been led down the path. You believe the mainstream media. But I want to ask you something. How can you obstruct something that never happened? It's a good question. Because I've been trying to figure that out. How can Trump and his associates obstruct anything when they were not found to be in collusion with the Russians? So what are they obstructing is what I want to know. Can't be justice because you're allowed to fight for your innocence, aren't you, in this country? I mean, it's long gone that innocent before being proven guilty. You know, it's the burden of the people charging you that have to prove that. And in this case, they use phony dossiers to obtain search warrants through the FISA court to spy on Trump. They didn't really need to do that, actually, because they could have just used the NSA, and I'm sure they did. And I bet if we dig far enough, we will see that they obtained information one way or the other through the NSA and other agencies that are affiliated with the FBI. That's how these agencies work these days, thanks to 9/11 and George Bush, who allowed greater communication between the agencies. Essentially, for all practical purposes, making one giant agency made up of several different lower ABC agencies. And what I'm saying is the FBI is only a department of a larger surveillance organization. You got the NSA, CIA, all these are under one giant umbrella. Now they call it the U.S. government. But it's really the federal government's muscle agencies. Do you think they work on behalf of the local city? You think? No, they raid our city. In fact, the FBI has been raiding a few places around here. City Hall, a local business. Something's going down in my city. I've been trying to find out. I think I have a clue. But when you get down to it here, ladies and gentlemen, and you realize that what is happening is just a show. Trump is going to release documents. It's going to get your hopes up. We're going to be able to, hopefully they're not redacted, but I bet you they will be. There's going to be a lot of redactions in there, which is going to allow the Democrats to continue their, which is funny, I have to get to this. Democrats all for investigation until the AG Barr thing goes on. Then they don't want investigations. They don't want anything to do with that. The bigger joke in all this is that government is going to investigate themselves once again. Like that's going to clean up anything. And it's a sad thing that you see everybody who's a supporter of Trump, who's a supporter of freedom, getting their hopes up that this is the big one. This is the one that's going to send all the people to jail. And unfortunately, as a commentator on reality, life, politics, the world, the universe, I don't see it happening. They're going to take out the little people. You know, the scapegoat here and a scapegoat there. But it's not going to go after Hillary. Boy, I'd love to be wrong on this one. But Hillary is pretty protected. Because if you unravel that little bit, if you pull her string, it's going to unravel so much more. And I don't think Barr, I don't think Trump, I don't think anybody wants to see the entire surveillance community, all the ABC agencies, all the intelligence departments of the government. You pull Hillary, all the corruption in the government is going to be exposed, which is going to tear down the U.S. government, destroy the faith of the people when it comes to the U.S. government, or at least the federal government. And I don't think Trump wants that. I don't think Barr wants that. I don't think anybody who is on the Republican side of things wants to see all the institutions destroyed over this. They're going to find a scapegoat, a couple, 2 or 3, 4 will have some proceedings, legal proceedings, whatever we have. Person here, 2, 3, 4, 5 will go to jail. It'll be tit for tat. Manafort and a few others face the heat. Now we'll see it on the other side. And all the big ones are still going to be there doing their thing, making their money, being scot-free from any real prosecution because we know. And it's sad to say, they're all too big to fail. That's right. We've got to take our first time out, ladies and gentlemen, but when we return, we'll talk more about what's happening inside the government, what you can do to protect yourself from some of the upcoming BS that's going to be flying around the internet. Make sure you don't get your hopes up for something that won't happen. We'll talk all about that on the other side of this. Stay tuned. Hey, Uncle Shady, where are they going? Hey, you, get back here. The John Lebang Show will be right back. Does your house need a paint job, but you don't want to do it? Then call Tom at Quality One Painting. He can handle all of your interior and exterior painting needs. He gives free estimates and senior discounts. Call Tom at Quality One. 313-982-2986. That's 313-982-2986. Quality One Painting.
Get ready to match the game. Batman.
What's up?
Captain Rainbow.
Oh, hi.
Gooberfish.
Yo, man, I'm here.
Peppa.
Oh, me too, honeys.
Shady.
That's me.
And Ditzy.
Hi, everyone.
As we get ready to play the star-studded Banger Match Game. Now here's your host of the Banger Match Game, John Lebang.
All right. How are all you weirdos today? And what about you weirdos in the audience? And you weirdo contestants? Welcome to the show. We have our returning champion, Des, who won her first game.
Glad to be back.
And she is being challenged by Ryan.
Hi, this is Ryan Kuchciak. I won some tickets to go see the Tigers, and I'm in studio with John. How you guys doing?
Ryan, since you're the challenger, we're going to give you the selection. Would you like to choose A or B?
A.
All right, so here's Ryan's first question. Did you hear about Hillary? Oh, what'd she do again? She caught Bill blanking on her computer. Oh, Lord.
Oh, I can just imagine.
Be quiet, I'm trying to think. That'd be a hard one. Hell, man, I know this one. There's a definitive answer.
Oh, I got something definitive for you.
Don't do it, Cooper. I'd listen to Batman if I were you. Okay, Ryan. Did you hear about Hillary? She caught Bill blanking on her computer.
Cooking.
Cooking. Not what I was thinking about, but let's see what the panel says. Batman. That's me. What's your answer? I did cook on the computer. That's a good question. Maybe sticking it on top of the monitor and heating it really slowly? I don't think so, John. See, he was doing some bad things on the computer, and they covered up like they always do. He was deleting emails, John. Deleting emails. No match there. Captain Rainbow, what do you say?
Oh, he was sexting.
No match there. Gooberfish, yeah, man, what's up? Do you have an answer? Well, hell, man, there's only one thing he could have been doing, man. He was deleting emails, man. That seems to be the definitive answer, but no match. Peppa, what say you? He was buying his baby mama a toothbrush. No match there. Shady, John, I don't know what's wrong with these people over here. He wasn't deleting emails, he wasn't sexting, although that was close, and he definitely wasn't buying a toothbrush. Well, then what was he doing, Shady? He was doing what Leroy does. Watching PornTube. No match there. Ditzy. Yes, John. Do you have cooking? Oh, John, you never wanted to eat what I was cooking. And neither did Bill. He was looking at my Facebook page, John. No match there. So, Ryan, you didn't match any of our stars. Now we move on to Des. Whenever Iron Man feels romantic, his blank starts to light up.
Oh, I got a good answer for this one.
Spoilers, John. He can't light anything up anymore. Let's not ruin movies for people. Oh, whatever, John. What happened to Iron Man? You don't want to know. Please don't tell me he went gay.
Oh, I wish.
Okay, looks like everyone is ready. Des, whenever Iron Man feels romantic, his blank starts to light up.
His heart.
His heart starts to light up. Batman, when he gets romantic, it's not his heart that lights up. It's his bat phone. His bat phone. Okay. Captain Rainbow, you're up next.
What kind of answer is that?
I'll give it a B.
It wasn't his bat phone, John, or his heart. It was his war machine.
Well, no answer there. What do you mean by war machine?
Oh, if you want to find out later, I'll show you.
I wouldn't take him up on that. No, just forget I asked you. Gooberfish, what do you say? It wasn't his heart. It was his eyes. His eyes. No match there. Peppa.
Oh, honeys, every time he got that's romantic. His baby mama started to light up.
No match there. Shady, what do you say?
You know, John, there's a lot of stupid answers on this question.
What do you expect from a bunch of weirdos?
Hell, man, I ain't that weird.
Speak for yourself, Goober.
Oh, that's Goober Fish.
Y'all be quiet, I can talk here. Now, as I was saying, John, it ain't none of what they all been saying. It's his arc reactor, which keeps his heart alive.
Judges, they're going to give it to you. Here's one for Des. Ditzy, do you have a heart?
Oh, I have lots of things, John, including the best set of boobs on the planet, John.
Ain't no fake boobies the best, ho.
Nobody's talking to you, Brillohead.
Shut up, you ho.
Ladies, let's be cordial. Ditzy, what's your answer?
It's his tank missile, John.
No match there. And after one round, Des is leading 1-0. Ryan, please choose between A or B.
Let's go with B.
John said, I just won the world's worst contest. The prize was a week in bed with blank.
Oh, I got an answer for this one.
Let me think.
Let's see. This question's gonna give me nightmares.
Oh, this is a good one.
What about... Oh, they're all nasty.
Did you say something?
Not to you.
All right, Ryan. John said, I just won the world's worst contest. The prize was a week in bed with
Myself.
you. With all honesty and no offense, that would probably be one of the worst prizes I could ever get. But let's see what the panel says. Batman,
Yep.
what's your answer?
Well, after careful consideration, John, it could only be one thing. The definitive answer is the Joker.
The Joker. No match there. Captain Rainbow, what do you say?
Oh, this just happened to me recently, so it came right to my mind. He had no lubricant.
No lubricant. No match there. Gooberfish, do you have a match?
I don't think so, man. But I would think this is the worst prize ever. Spending a week in bed with Oprah watching reruns of Wrinkle in Time.
That would be bad. No match there. Peppa, do you have a match?
See, I had the problem myself before, and it was a week in bed with the crabs.
No match there.
Do we always have to be TMI on this show?
I don't know, Shady. That depends on what your answer is.
I think I got the best answer of all. The worst prize would be a week in bed with the Wicked Witch of the West, Nancy Pelosi.
That definitely would be awful. But it's no match. Ditzy, do you have a match for Ryan?
I don't have a match, John, but it's close. You had to spend a week in bed with the baby mama, John.
Oh, that'd be a great week, honeys.
Only if you're not on top.
All right, no match there. Des, here is your second question. Everyone watched in amazement as Kylo blanked Rey.
Oh, Star Wars. I don't know. Let's see. This is a hard one.
You would know all about that, ho.
Oh, I love hard ones.
Me too.
I got one.
You ain't lying, honeys.
Please don't give me visual. I'm with Batman.
All right, now it looks like everyone is ready. Des, everyone watched in amazement as Kylo blanked Rey.
Stabbed.
Stabbed.
I mean,
Not a bad answer. Batman, what do you say?
Well, this might be a match, John. He killed her.
No match there.
What do you mean? If he stabbed her, he killed her.
Not necessarily. He could stab her and it not be life-threatening.
Why would you stab someone and not try to kill him?
Captain,
Here.
everyone watched in amazement as Kylo blanked Rey.
Oh, just looking at him, you know he's got pride, so he rejected Ray.
Rejected. No match there. Gooberfish, what say you?
I thought this was an easy answer, man. He used a force on Ray.
Use the Force. No match there. Peppa,
After Ray see Kylo with that shirt off, she got so hot all over. They met up after the movie was over, and she got knocked up.
knocked up. Good answer, but not a match. Shady,
About time you get to me, John.
so what's your answer, Shady?
Well, I think this is a match, John, but we'll have to leave it up to the judges.
Okay, what is it?
He jabbed his saber into Ray.
The judges are being generous. That's a match. Ditzy, what do you say?
There's been a lot of interesting answers here.
To say the least,
But it's clear, John, he used the force on her, John.
use the Force. No match there. Well, that ends the second round, and Des leads 2-0. Ryan, you need to match 2 of our celebrities to stay in the game and 3 to take the lead. Please choose A or B.
A.
At the nudist camp, they held a formal wedding, so all the men wore black blank.
Oh, I went to one of those ones.
Please don't tell us about it. I'm with Batman. Leave it alone. The hell would nudists wear? Oh, they don't wear anything.
Keeps away the mystery.
Oh, I got some good answer here.
All right, Ryan, like I said earlier, you need 2 to stay in the game, 3, and you'll take the lead. At the nudist camp, they held a formal wedding, so all the men wore black blank.
Jock straps.
Jock straps. Interesting answer. Let's see if you matched any of our celebrities. Batman.
That's right. I'm Batman.
At the nudist camp, they held a formal wedding, so all the men wore black blank.
Well, they didn't wear jockstraps, John. They wore Batman masks.
Batman masks. No match there. Captain Rainbow.
Oh, like I said, I've been to one of these before. Come to think of it, I've been to all kinds of weddings. Nudist camp, they have a beach so you can run around, and sometimes the sand gets warm, so they wear fairy boots.
No match there. Gooberfish, do you have an answer?
What do you wear at a formal wedding, man? You wear a tie, man.
A tie. No match there. Peppa, you're next.
Honest, they wore some afros.
Afros. No match there. Ryan, you're down to matching both Shady and Ditzy to stay in the game. Shady, what's your answer?
I don't know if this is a match or not, John, but I think it's close. They wore bow ties around their schmeckle, John.
No match there. And Des, you win the game. Ryan, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me in.
Des, that's 2 for you. And we'll have you back next time to face a new opponent.
Thanks for having me.
That's it for the Banger Match Game. I'm John Lebang, and on behalf of the gang, we'll see you next time.
Take it easy.
Catch you later.
Yo, man, take it easy.
Bye, honest.
Has anybody got a bid?
Bye.
The Banger Match Game is the John Lebang Show production. All contestants are real, if you can believe that.
Don't move a muscle.
The John Lebang Show will be right back.
With lots of fun and excitement. Yes!
Are you in need of commercial or residential window cleaning? Do you need your office cleaned? Maybe custodial work? How about some gutter cleaning? If you do, then call Pane in the Glass. For a beautiful shine that's crystal clear, call Pane and the Glass. You can find them on Facebook at Pane and the Glass.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
If you want to contact the John Lebang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John Lebang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John Lebang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
Now, with all the political mess here in the States, and it's a huge one, the Democrats, Trump, Republicans, so dysfunctional that even though I'm not a fan of the government getting things done per se, there's no way they can work together in this current climate. Trump's got the thing with Nancy's. I mean, it's a big soap opera, and I'm sure the mainstream media is loving it because it's probably keeping their ratings up. Here you have a president who's extremely popular with his base, so they're going to be waiting on every bit of news coming from his angle. Then you have a Democrat base who's entirely outraged right now because their political leaders, if you call them that, but since they're running around like marionettes, sure, you got the Pied Piper at the top of the, Nancy being the most prominent one. She's out there with the flute, and all the Democrat minions run out there and do whatever she directs them to do. So with all this political mayhem going on in the country, we've got external problems we're dealing with as well. Recently with the whole Iran thing, we got the Saudi ship that was attacked, quote unquote attacked, I was going to do a video on that, but I'm not quite ready to get full blown back into the show here as far as doing the full range of content that you're used to, because we're not ready yet. You see, the video I was going to do was going to discuss the ship that was attacked, the damage done to it, and the little code I had actually found on the ship that was interesting. And I'm sure others have seen a secret code on the ship that, well, let's just say it pretty much tells you who was involved. If you believe that sort of thing, right? You start going off talking about numerology and secret codes and secret societies, and some people freak out. They start calling you conspiracy theorists. We don't do that here. We prove conspiracies. But any theorizing we do, it's theory crafting. We just kind of get our brains going and go, okay, what could happen with all the chess pieces laid out the way they are? What could happen? So with that being taken into consideration, while all this mess is happening in the States on the political front, we have Venezuela that's looking to be a problem we may be getting involved with. We have Iran with the ships in Saudi Arabia, and now we're sending more troops. It's in place. They have a lot of contingency plans in place. The government has to do something. The generals have to make up things. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a whole lot to do each and every day. Their job is to theory craft. I like that. Their job is to plan for a possible outcome with Russia, with China, with Iran. They probably have a war plan already in place for practically every country on the planet. Even our allies, if our allies went rogue for whatever reason. And if they keep letting in people from the Middle East, they probably will go rogue, because once those people that have moved in have taken over the government, it won't be the same government anymore. Gosh, it reminds me. Now, you history buffs, chime in as well. Please comment in the chat room or the comment section if you're listening to this on YouTube. But this is very similar to how the Muslim or Islamic push back before the Crusades happened. Is it not? There's a massive push north into lower parts of Europe through Turkey, and that way. That was all before the Crusades, which a lot of people like to bash the Christians for the Crusades, but in all honesty, it was in retaliation of the Islamic movement coming from the Middle East up through Europe. People like to forget or ignore that part of history, but whatever. So we have all these plans in place, getting to the long end of the short here. While we're having all the problems at home, we've got to deal with Iran, apparently. Although I don't think so. In fact, if you ask me, I tell France, the European Union, NATO, the rest of NATO, not us, we have our own problems. Tell them to deal with Iran for a while. You can't tell me that they're not strong enough as a coalition without the U.S. to handle Iran on their own. For whatever reason, they got to handle Iran if they have to handle Iran. Why can't NATO handle that on their own without the U.S. involvement? Because we have our own problems. Not only do we have the Venezuelan problem, which is far closer to home, and our government wants to influence that government or that future government or the politics of that region. Because that's what governments do. That's why when people were all mad that Russia was trying to affect the election somehow, whatever, it still hasn't been proven what they actually did to affect the vote total. But people were upset that Russia was trying to influence the election here in the States back in 2016. Yet our government does it all over the world. We've done it. When we can't do it politically, then we bring in the guns. That's what happens. Then we have Korea firing off missiles, North Korea. Everybody's going to blame a war on Trump, but let's be honest. In all fairness to him, this has been set up over a long time. It may have been put off for a long time through this pact and this pact and this and this and this. But eventually, one country's going to get screwed out of the deal. Americans would consider, some Americans, the people who side with Trump, probably consider themselves being screwed in all the trade deals that have kept the world peaceful, relatively peaceful, over the past 2 or 3 decades, minus 9/11 and the wars that have come from that. All these brush fire wars. And that's what's happening is instead of having a big conflict like we did in the 20th century, where we had actually 2, we've had these brush fire wars. And when I say we, I'm speaking of the human race now. We've had these proxy wars to avoid having a major conflict. And we just allow this group of people to take the hit and that group of people to take the hit because it's just whatever. And I'm no fan of countries in the Middle East. I'm no fan of South American countries. Not a fan of many countries at this point because governments are uncontrollable. Even one, such as ours here in the States, is so big now, so cumbersome, that you really are under the thumb of it instead of it working for you. When they can find new ways to tax you, take your money, and I can tell you, they haven't earned any of the money that they've taken in. It's nearly $4 trillion they take in each and every year. That's an enormous amount of money. And I'd like to see somebody justify why they deserve it. Don't tell me that we need a military and all that. I'm not telling you what we need as a country. I'm telling you why. I want to know why the federal government deserves the amounts of money they get. Because they don't deserve it. For the most part, they do not work on the behalf of the people who pay the taxes. Who should be, I know we're equal across the board, but when we're deciding how country should run, the people who pay the bill need to come first. That's right. Those people's requests have to come first because they're paying for it. The people who aren't paying for it, and don't tell me because you pay a sales tax that you're paying for the government because you're paying for your state's bills. That's a state tax. That's not a federal tax. Federal tax. And I'd like to get people's minds changed a little bit on the federal government because they act a lot more like the kings of old. When we had the revolution, then they act like the people who fought the revolution to free us. When they want to raise your taxes, even though this country, in a huge way, as the president would say, was formed out of not wanting to pay enormous amounts, and I think it was like 2 or 4%, unlike today, which most of us pay 30%. 1/3 of your life, roughly, is given to the government as financial service. 1/3 of your workday is headed over to a government. Here, take our money. And then we're never satisfied with the government. Because we'll never be satisfied. You can't satisfy anybody. Or everybody. So that's why I'm always preaching that we need less government. Because you can't satisfy everybody. You can't pay for everybody. You can't take care of everybody properly. Not in a system where you want freedoms, yet you want the government to do things for you. You can't have socialism and freedom. They don't work together. Because socialism will always dominate. It needs money. It's greedy that way. So it's going to go into everybody's pockets, and it's going to find new ways to take money. And they're going to make them up. We're seeing that with state governments. They needed new forms of tax revenue. So what have some governments done? Oh, they legalized marijuana because they can tax it. For years and years and years, it was awful. It was bad. It was the devil. But once they figured out that they could tax it to death and make a boatload of money, they just went ahead and found ways to make it happen. Started in Colorado and some other states, and now it's grown. And it's not because they want to give you freedom. It's because they want the tax revenue. It's the same with raising the minimum wage, you dummies. The government, people inside the government, don't want to help you out. Are you kidding me? If they really did, your $7 an hour job would be great if you weren't taxed to death for it. You could live on that money, probably. A lot better than you do now. But what they want to do is raise your minimum wage, making you think that they're helping you out when they are only getting a bigger cut of your pocketbook. Why don't you see that? I don't understand the people. Then they can go and have wars in the Middle East for no reason. They can hand out foreign aid to whatever country they deem needs foreign aid. Hell, we have a problem with Mexico, and what do? We still give them foreign aid. Mexico is letting people in by the thousands into our country, helping them along the way by some estimations. Yet we still give them foreign aid. Why do we give the Palestinians foreign aid when all they do is attack our ally? Why do we help out Saudi Arabia with weapons and well, they don't need money. They need weapons. We need their money. Because we taught them how to suck that oil out of the ground, and somehow the people, I don't get it, whatever. They didn't say we should get a big cut of that. We should get free oil for a couple hundred years because we taught you how to do that. But hey, whatever. That's why I don't understand the politicians and why people continue to follow these people who promise them everything and deliver hardly anything. What can I say? I'm just a man watching it all happen. I don't have power to fix it, but I can say something. And right now, I got to say, please check out our sponsors. When we return, we'll have more on the flip side.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
Because the John Lebang Show will be right back.
After this.
That's guaranteed. Yes.
At Absolute Skin and Body Care, they only use the best laser equipment in the industry so that you receive the best results possible. They'll explain all the procedures in detail and answer all of your questions. Absolute Skin and Body Care. If you're looking for skin rejuvenation, laser lipo, or laser hair removal, call Absolute Skin and Body Care. They're located at 37625 Ann Arbor Road, Suite 105 in Livonia, Michigan. Absolute Skin and Body Care. Their office phone numbers are 248-305-3000. That's 248 305-3000. Absolute Skin and Body Care.
You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
And it's so much fun.
I'd like to address a few things on a show note, personal note, how we're going to be moving forward with, so bear with me. But I think it's really important because what we're going to be doing is a direct reflection of what has happened in our experiences doing this radio broadcast. And many of you know, let me step back a minute. Many of you know about the Banger Music Hour and how I support independent music from around the globe. It's one of the things I do because I am for the little guy. Unlike the Democrat Party who claims that crap and, well, they only give the trinkets out. I am for the little guy. I give time. And I don't have to give this stuff I could just do my thing. In fact, I thought about canceling the music hour after I was hired by a station to begin the music hour, and then they reneged on the whole thing after so many weeks. They never paid me. Okay. See, it's part of the experience here. It's like nobody wants to appreciate the stuff I put forth, and so because of that, we've had some revelations. So I made a post this week about the Electoral College and how there's a movement to gain national, and I'm going to call it federal because to me, my nation is the state of Michigan, and the federal government, Washington, D.C., I don't relate with it. I don't understand it. It's a beautiful town. But those people do not represent me, not in the slightest. And I can't do a damn thing to change how they act, respond, and how they control things. Wish I could. But that's up to my state and every state in the union to keep the federal government off our backs. See, they're not doing their job either, the states. I make this post about the Electoral College and how you already have the popular vote. It's in your state. It's in your state. You have the popular vote. And that the move to federalize the election across the board to make the Electoral College non-existent, which is there to protect you, the people. You don't even know it. You people who want the federal popular vote, you're going to call it national, but I'm going to call it federal. Just know that that's my term for it, okay? Deal with it. You don't even know that you're taking your vote away, but whatever. So I had some jackass from a band make their comments, fine, attack me a little bit, thinking that I'm pro something that I'm not, but that's because they never listen to the show, and I called them out on it. If you listen to the show, you know better, right? That's basically what I said. Well, the jerk fires off because they don't, you got radicals on that side of the aisle. There's no doubt about it that on the left there are far more radicalized people than there are on the political right. I don't have the political right ever trolling me when I bash their guy. Never. They just don't comment. They don't seek out trouble, per se. The people on the political left, they love to go and pick a fight. The dude's second comment goes right after my show. One, he's too good to listen to my show. Hey, I get it, bro. I get it. We're not the biggest show on the planet. Then they go ahead and then start to bash my listeners. And see, I can take the hit myself, but I'm not going to take you bashing my listeners because these are loyal people to me. And a lot of them are my friends. And even though we may have never met in person, I still consider them a friend because they take the time to listen to what I have to say. So then I got really downright and dirty. It's like, it's cool, bro, that you don't listen to the show, man. But don't expect me to support your band anymore because you obviously don't support my show. And I've played your band a lot on my show. Never asked anything in return. You could have tuned in once or twice, but according to you, you don't have the time to listen to some crappy show like mine. But you're not going to bash my listeners. And they did. So I'm like, well, then I don't have to play your stuff anymore because I'm going to play the bands that support the show. Why wouldn't I do that? Really supported you in the past without any return on that. You don't want to listen. You don't want to support the show. Great. You don't even appreciate that the fans are listening to your stuff. Don't even care that we support you. It's okay. Because you're not going to do the same in return, which is typical of people of that political persuasion. It's all about them always. Sounds like some relationships I was in, but hey, whatever. They come back, we shouldn't make it because we have different political views. And I'm like, whoa, bro, hang on a minute. Weren't you the one bashing not only me, which is okay because I get that daily. If you saw my hate mail, you'd understand that. Hate mail don't bother me anymore. I just let it bounce off. I got shields for that. But you're not going to bash my listeners. These people sat through and listened to your crappy little tune. And actually, I don't think it's crappy. But this guy's going to ruin it for the rest of his band on top of it, which is amazing. And chances are, he's not going to feel any wrath from the band for blowing it. Because I'm a little show. Well, I made it clear. You're not going to be on the show anymore. Because I supported you. I've been supporting you. I had no political bias, right? I had no political bias. Whatever he said on his page politically, I never bugged him. I didn't care. I don't care. I was just supporting his band. Because it was a cool, they had one cool tune. And I'm shallow because they bash my listeners, they bash me. I'm not allowed to go, well, fine. You know what? We'll just have a divorce there. I won't have to play your tunes anymore. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been listening to the Banger Music Hour, you know there's plenty of stuff coming in. Plenty. And it's a lot of great stuff. So missing one little tiny band that hasn't put out anything in over a year, I think, doesn't bother me at all. And I know I'm going on, but it comes to a point where, like, listen, bands, I barely get any support from most of you. We do our best here to support you. We play on the show, which goes out to a bunch of stations in a bunch of countries weekly. We promote the heck out of you on social media, Facebook and Twitter. When that song's being played on our origination show, we're doing a tweet about it. Now playing, and all the tags. Barely get any bands to retweet that or say thank you. There are some that are very gracious. There are some. But for the most part, it's okay. Maybe they don't have a Twitter account. I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't have a Twitter account if you're in any kind of band, radio show, or what. It's kind of a thing. You have to have it. I hate it, but you got to have it. Then on Facebook, I go nuts, right? Not only do I tag every band that's in the show to make sure that everybody knows how to click. They can click on that band if they like the band from my Facebook page and go to their Facebook page and like their page. Become a fan of theirs. And I know they have done it in the past. Bands have gotten plenty of new fans because the show has played their music and they've gone to the Facebook page or whatever and liked their page. But for the majority of these groups, you might get a like on the post. You might get a like. A majority of them don't share the show promo, which means they're not telling anybody that they're on the show, which means their fans won't come to listen to the show to check out their music and any other band's music. Oh, there was a doozy just last week with a band that we had on the show for an interview. They didn't share the original post. They made their own post, which is great, except their own post didn't send them to the website. I mean, you guys have to understand. There's a small return I need out of this to help. I'm doing far more for you guys. I share it like on 13 different pages on Facebook. So I go to my page, start the post there, and then it's shared all over. I do that for everybody. So on 13 or so Facebook pages that most of you bands aren't a part of because it's radio guy stuff. These other shows, these other people that are part of the radio industry get to see this post, and you probably get some residuals. I'm betting you, because it's happened to me, where somebody's posted something, and I'm like, well, let me check out this band. I'm like, wow. Actually, it was Motion Device. I heard Motion Device for the first time because somebody else shared it. And I was like, I got to get these guys on the show. So I contacted them, got some music in. So I know it works that way. And some of my posts reach, 1,500 people. Not huge, but when you're talking each and every week that's happening, you're getting in front of people that you normally wouldn't. The least you could do, just as me, as we're running up against the clock here, the least you bands could do, share the post. And when you do, say something about it. Hey, this dude is playing our tunes. Check him out. That's all you have to do. Because playing your tunes is doing the same thing. And then sharing your stuff is taking it a step further. And I'm sharing it on multiple platforms. So that's even taking it a step further. Then you're on my website. You see, I'm here to help you, bands. All I ask in return is you do a little bit of the same back to me. See, if we all help each other out, we can all grow together. And there's some of you that are so gosh damn talented that all you need is just a little push to get you over the edge. To do things on your own, too, where you won't have to be entitled to give a major record label all your money and you make this little diddly amount. It just takes a little support around the horn, all of us helping each other out. And when you have a guy that bashes me and my fans, my listeners, he's bashing all the other bands too. That's idiot. Doesn't even know that. He's so stupid, he's bashing all these other bands, whether he knows it or not. Because many of these bands appreciate the support. They may not understand that they should carry on and start sharing and all that. But practically, most of the bands, not all of them, will at least like the post, which is a start in the right direction. Now we need you to take it a step further because I want all of us to grow together. And the only way we're going to do that is if we team up. All our individual situations start pushing together. It's the only way we're going to do it. And guys and see, I'm not even telling you the guy's band or anything because I don't want to bash the band, right? I like the tune, and I have nothing against the other guys. Problem is, their one guy, their little drummer, he must have beaten his head too much or something. Their one drummer ruined it for the whole band. Personally, if I was in the band, that dude would be in the doghouse for a little while. Because it doesn't matter how big the show is, that's burning bridges. Because you don't know how big my show is going to be in the future. I'm one of the few, and this is in all honesty before we get out of here, I'm one of the few shows that actually take this thing seriously and want to make something of it, which means I'm pushing to grow. I'm not some of these shows on all these other little internet radio stations that are doing this for a frickin' hobby. God knows it's not worth the hobby. I can do plenty of other things that would make me happy. But I'm trying to make something here. And I want you all to come along. Thank you for listening. We're at the end of this hour. Don't forget to go to that website, www.jlebang.com, to listen to this broadcast, archives of past shows, the Bangerverse, music video. We got all kinds of stuff on that website. You should be checking it out because that is the hub for everything Banger related. Want to thank all of our affiliate stations. Of course, you, the listener, who tune in each and every week. And until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, I'm John Lebang. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time, right here on the John Lebang Show.
2, 1. We have liftoff. Tune in again next week. Same time. time, same space, same station.
Resistance is futile.